Recording through USB mic. Wow. Schnazzy. I have the technology. I don't know if that's going to work, though. No, it doesn't do it.
You can hold it with the top one.
Oh, yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, that's going to work. Ideal. All right. It's already going for 25 minutes. So testing. There we are. Okay. So help me. Again, I'm sorry. I'm bad.
Okay.
Chris, I just got reminded. And Ty and Kat and Wyatt and Erica and Josie. Josie. Okay. I believe you. Boom. I'm glad we had that. So those few people, last 2 weeks ago, we really dived into the Tree of Life and tried to kind of talked about the lightning flash and how that, right on this particular poster, it shows the lightning flash very primarily, well. And so that I discussed that as the not only everything we talk about the Tree of Life, it's both for the macrocosm and the microcosm. As above, so below, as within, so without. So the idea when we're talking about the lightning flash is illustrating the sort of source energy, source consciousness, using this sort of structure. Again, the Tree of Life is basically giving structure to the unseen realms. So we're not only talking about consciousness creating the universe and creating physical matter, because down in the bottom in Malkuth, we have not just the earth, but three-dimensional material reality stuck in time. So we go from, as we kind of hit on briefly, and it's not discussed, it's not a lot to do with things, but we have the three levels of basically non-existence or pre-existence. Ein, Ein Sof, and Ein Sof Or, which is on one of the handouts there. So it's kind of stages from pre-existence, non-existence to pre-existence to, of course, Ein Sof Or, the translation I got from Golden Dawn is the limitless light. So out of the limitless light comes number one, the first beginnings of energy consciousness being expressed. So, but then again, don't want to get too far away what I was about. So not only the creation, the lightning flash showing this process of creation of the universe, but also basically anything. There's this idea that this is how it's representative of even the creative process if we're trying to manifest something in our lives too. Now, I do want to put a little parentheses here that we'll get back to at a later class. It's not really the topic of this class, but it said that as this process is occurring, that you can see that there's this sort of system of checks and balance, polarities between the male and female pillars, or positive and negative pillars. And of course, when we're not talking about human sexuality here when we say male and female. We're talking about concepts of energy and limits or boundaries containing the kind of theories of containment being feminine, the theories of energy express being masculine. So I just wanted to put in this parentheses this idea of, in the Kabbalah, there is talk of the explanations for evil, for nasty stuff. But in Kabbalah, there's funnily termed positive evil and negative evil. Hi. Should I actually close this? Welcome. Boom. And the idea is that as this checks and balances process is occurring in both a little thing we're creating, but also in life we're living, but also in the creation of the universe, it's called, I don't think that's the technical term, but there's this idea of kind of spillage. That say, as here we have the supernals, we talked about the abyss a little bit. We have kind of pure energy, the primary masculine of kind of giving energy a push or a path. The primary feminine, represented by Saturn in astrology, is the primary idea of containment. So energy contained. And then as this energy kind of crosses the abyss, we get down to Jupiter. Of course, Jupiter, and then we can start, because this is the secular Kabbalah with a Q, we can talk about Jupiter is not just Jehovah, Jupiter is Zeus. Jupiter is Odin. Jupiter is all these different concepts of the masculine, sort of the old father god theory and place and type of consciousness. But in kind of human life and human expression, a little bit down from the macrocosm, not quite the microcosm, not our individual lives, but in Jupiter represents society as a whole, kind of laws, agreements, belief systems, things that we all kind of buy into when we live in community and family. And so there's this idea that, well, you can have too much of a good thing. Too much wonderful food can be a problem. Too much, what? Well, free time, if you don't know what to do with it, or if you tend to use it for self-destructive habits, can be not a great thing all the time. Too much freedom, if there's not kind of some level of maturity to go with it, to balance it out, can be a problem. So the idea here is, from as the lightning flash goes down, that there tends to be a buildup of this energy until it's released over into here. So the idea of Jupiter being all this good stuff, but also theories and ideas that help us create community and work together and be together, that what's opposite that on the parallel, on the line there, is Mars. Mars being aggression, Mars, the theory of Mars as a god, of the god of war. It has to do with, also connected to the masculine energy of drive, of direction. Mars is all these things. But in a sense, Mars can be, if Jupiter is the laws, Mars is the police or the authority or the army. That is kind of an expression of that Jupiterian society, but also, and this is sort of the limitations. And the idea here is that there's a whole nother system that is, these are called the Sephiroth of the Tree of Life, but there's also the Qliphoth with a Q, Qliphoth. I'm not going to spell that right now. That's for the handout later in a few weeks. But anyway, the Qliphoth are seen as these sort of shadow spheres. So each one of these other spheres, I'm not so sure about number one, but each one of these spheres has a corresponding, the Sephiroth have corresponding Qliphoths, which is seen as a formation of negative energy. You're kind of where that the elements of Jupiter that are too much that can cause harm, the elements of Mars that are too much that can cause aggression, over aggression, or negative aggression. So just that the system does therefore have these considerations. It's not all flowers and meadows. That it does account for that idea of, yes, you can get too much of a good thing, and that's why it's balanced out by this boundary, assertive boundary setting, we'll call it, with Mars. Can you have too much balance, too much beauty in the center? Hypothetically, yes, we can. If things get stuck there, they don't ground, they don't become an authentic expression. It just becomes a dream. Down to passion and Venus. Can we have too much passion? Obviously. The tree balances off passion with reason, with Mercury. Too much Mercury which means no passion. Too much passion without a corresponding little rationality, the kind of ego mind to kind of temper it, to help it find its place, can also be a problem. So I just wanted to touch on those, that there's these Qliphoth. We'll learn about them later, but they do represent kind of the Sephiroth being not expressed in a balanced way. So a lot of times we see in our society, we see, you might say, oh, well, that's a good law, or that's something I agree with, or policies I agree with, or things in our community that I agree with. And another person is going to have another view. Don't want to get too into politics here or anything, but the idea is that there's checks and balances in human life and human society and in our own lives. So those Qliphoth are viewed as containment of extremes of the expression of that sphere. But nonetheless, there's this idea of positive, it's hard to get one's head around, kind of positive evil. That there's things going on in our world which need correcting. But of course, without making mistakes, without there being things that could be improved upon, we'd still be orangutans enjoying the fruit of the trees there wouldn't be any impetus for evolution, growth, development. And so when things are seen as negative or even Qliphothic, but that their correction results in human or personal evolution, then they're not necessarily a bad thing. You know, somebody that, the same, and this kind of now brings me into kind of healing. A lot of people, healing's good. I like the idea of healing. I would like to have more healing. There's things in my life that would enjoy some healing. But healing, if you're trying to heal someone else, that's a lot of responsibility. I mean, you're taking on somebody's karma. We don't know if, okay, I'm going to heal someone of their illness. I'm going to help heal someone of their difficult attitudes. And they're even asking for this healing or help, be that Reiki or modern medicine, really. But if we go and heal something, if that healing is successful for someone, does that mean they're not going to improve themselves? They're not going to correct their diet. They're not going to quit smoking. They're not going to change bad habits. Oh, well, I'm healed. So those are the types of things that can be seen as difficulties in our lives, which spur us to development. And those difficulties and things in social, culturally, and legally, et cetera, running into the difficulties is what helps it all evolve. And that's why they call it positive evil. Because it's necessary to our growth or development. And I know it's not really Kabbalah, but once in a while I have caught this channeler on Bashar. Everybody heard of Bashar? He's cute. So he channels these alien beings from the future or something. A lot of good advice, really, considering they're barely human, not human. But and I forgot the Bashar connection. But anyway, there is also this idea, though, of negative evil, and that would be things that have somehow are from outside of the tree entire, or sort of seen as not difficult things that are there to be corrected and lend towards growth, but kind of anti-human influences, or that there's another type of evil which could be construed as anti-human, which is kind of from outside the tree. So which is why it's kind of a little exhausting segue into I'd like to kind of, did I get my sheet back?
No.
All right, thanks. I wanted to ask anyone want to volunteer? Has anyone kind of tried the middle pillar at home or kind of done any homework yet? Not really? All right. In which case, I'd like to do that again today, and we'll do it in the context of a little ceremony. Now, however, this, what I'd like to do now. Anybody brought their handouts from last time?
No.
Okay. Oh, I'm glad somebody's organized. Thank you.
I might have added stuff.
Oh, that's great. We're not going to be doing that one too much today. Yeah, that's the one I wanted to borrow briefly. What I'd like to do today is and since we have like a full house, and I appreciate that, is I'd like to make sure everybody can leave today with knowing how to do stuff at home or on your own. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to, let's see, so we will have 4 quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4 quarters. So I'll need, and we're just going to start with doing 4 quarters, and we'll get 4 volunteers to do a quarter. But what we're going to do is just start with what you're going to be doing is the lesser banishing pentagram in each quarter. Now, the lesser banishing pentagram is the pentagram for Earth. And the theory is that that's entirely adequate for doing any kind of meditation or work or intention that's kind of to do with this earthly plane. And as we kind of touched on briefly, the sphere for Earth, Malkuth, the one at the feet, is the sphere of the material world stuck in time. But there is also kind of astral influences kind of right there, are part of it, are really part of it. That there's sort of a lower astral and a higher astral, even though the astral ain't that high. So, but when we do the banishing pentagram for Earth, we are kind of clearing that space, creating that circle, clearing the space in our circle, and that does include I'll call it the imminent astral. Because here the theory is, in Kabbalah, is that the astral realm is quite expansive and contains all kinds of stuff and thought forms and imaginings. But everything we see and live with in this material world is a manifestation of something that there's an astral counterpart. To use the native expression, everything in all my relations has an astral counterpart. So we have an astral body, there's a counterpart of a physical body. That this piece of paper, there's an astral piece of paper that this takes manifestation from, if you will. So by doing these banishing pentagrams of Earth, we are actually kind of clearing potentially, I want to say negative, but just pretty anything that isn't of your intention at the time. So, and then I've also, now I don't have that, but I know it's in a handout somewhere, is the Kabbalistic cross. So what I'm going to do is we're just, when I first learned these ceremonies, I'm not going to expect you to learn today how to do what I did the first day was this rose cross ritual, kind of creating a big circle, which is actually a sphere around us. So, so that was one way of doing a circle for ceremonial magic. Another way was just kind of calling in the archangels, which is maybe a bit much for right today. Well, actually, that's what we're going to do after we've cleared the room. But I just we're just going to do, and I don't have this written down, so you just have to really pay attention. But so instead of do a highfalutin kind of ceremonial magic circle with the rose cross ritual and a giant sphere of light around you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, we can borrow a little bit from kind of Wicca stuff, kind of witchy. A witchy circle is so much easier. So, and then there's a formal way of doing that, which I'm not going to do. Because you want to have some salt and some water and some incense and some and a besom maybe too to sweep. So we're not. I don't. But what we can do is, I just want to give you something that you can take home with you, and what it's going to involve is a lighter, which I don't have. Crossing my fingers.
I don't think I did.
I think I have one in my coat over there.
Everything but a lighter today. We even brought dowsing rods for
All right.
some strange reason.
Never beat.
Find out which container it's in.
Okay, I'll check my coat.
There you go.
Oh.
Thank you. So, say you got a little room, you got a space, or your roommate's out finally, and you got a little time. So, if you want to do, the first thing to do is have a candle. Highly recommended to at least have a candle. And then today I have a little bit of sage. So a little bit of sage, maybe if you're not going to set off any fire alarms. That's the opposite of peace and protection. So I would recommend. So okay, well I got a little time. I'm going to get my chair ready. You got, and you're gonna. Okay, I'm going to light a candle. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do a little ceremony. There we are. Got it. So what you want to do is, it's always important to any kind of magic, be that witchy, Wicca, or ceremonial, is it's always important to have an intention. So, however, it's safe to say today, our intention is to learn and elevate our consciousness. That'll have to do. That's good for today. So, what you have your intention, and you want to do a little smudge. Now, I will have to write this down in a handout for someone, for everybody, because it's sort of fun. So I'd like to start in the East. And there's a tradition is counterclockwise for banishing, clockwise for invoking. So start in the East. I'm starting in the East. I'm going counterclockwise. Am I? That's clockwise. There we are. And I'm just kind of go East. And we'll just kind of, you guys are good. And we go clear, clear, clear. Sage to clear us. Kind of clear the space. That would have been good to have a tray to figure that out first, but okay.
The candle holders up there.
There we are. What'd you see? Oh, yeah. Perfect. Is it waxy? No. Hopefully. There we go. And there's a little Greek phrase, which I didn't write down. And it goes, Hecus estebebeloi. Go out there. Estebebeloi. Hecus estebebeloi. And if you want to write it down, it's just however you can sound it out. Hecus, Hekas, Hecus, Esta, Este, or A, Bebeloi, got me. Hecus estebebeloi. And it's Greek for go away, all you negative influences, or something to that effect. And now that we got it clear, we're going to light this now. Get this over with. We dedicate this temple, this circle, to our growth and enlightenment. Now, who wants to? What we're going to do is east. Let's start in the north. Chris, you want to try a lesser pentagram? Here you go. Come on up. You got to stand up and face that direction. Face north.
This way.
Yeah, and maybe just a finger. Okay, so banishing, however, is we're starting down here. Start down here, and you're doing earth. So what you want to do is just focus on drawing a pentagram on that wall with your finger and your imagination.
But I start here?
No, you're starting at the bottom of your pentagram. Okay. If you want to have your pentagram way up there, yeah, you can start there. But so draw a pentagram in the north, and we're going, go. Nah, hang on. That wall. Okay. Pentagram, boom, 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 boom. And we went, yeah. And so now we say Agala and Uriel. That's it. You banish that direction. You're done. Next. Okay. East, north
West.
to west. So, but it's the same one. So, and you're going Eheye and Gabriel.
Eheye and Gabriel.
There. Protect me. That works. Next.
So next.
Hi. So you're doing a banishing pentagram.
Okay.
So it's from there to there. But let me just sketch it out
yeah.
for you first, okay? Like big. Yeah. And what you're doing is trying to just visualizing it in your imagination. Okay, go. And that's for water, fire. Okay. So you know you're doing fire. You're banishing and fire. But so, okay, go. Go. Adonai Mikiel. Adonai Mikiel. Okay, right. Very good. Easy,
now,
sneezy.
Is there like when I was first doing it, I was trying to start here, but is there like a certain point?
Oh yeah, you have to start at the bottom.
You start at the bottom, okay.
Banish.
And then you go up. Okay.
This one's invoke.
Like
invoke is that. There's the opposite.
There's certain other ones. It's like.
Well, these are all. The lesser pentagram is the same. That's why there's only one here. It's for every quarter. And that's because we're dealing with the earth element and the attached astral. Yes. You want to get it over with, don't you?
Do I need to be on this side or this side again?
It doesn't matter. That way. Just don't poke anybody. Okay, so just a little reminder, starting down here and making a big pentagram right on that buffalo. And east, that's Jehovah and Raphael. So
Jehovah Raphael.
okay, very good. All right. So now we have, we've gone counterclockwise and we've created this space. And now we can do a little circle. And we did a Hecus estebebeloi and sage and vanishing pentagrams, and now Ate. And Ate, Malkuth, Vegabora, Vegadula, Leola Am. And now this is the little witchy one that's so easy. And you start in the east or north, and we're going clockwise for sure though. And what I'm doing is imagining that I'm drawing a circle around. If you want to color, I've heard it kind of like blue light maybe, whatever you use, any kind of light, white light. But the words are, you go around 3 times, and the words are, this is a space that is not in space. In a time that is not in time, that is removed from time. Between the worlds of humans and the immortals. So be it. Now we're in a protected circle. So the little bit I didn't write down, if you want to commit to memory, or it'll be in a future handout, is it's a space that's not in space. It's a time that's beyond time, between the worlds of usins and what's beyond the veil, the immortals. And that kind of covers it, because there's a lot of stuff beyond the veil, which is maybe, but when you call it the immortals, you got something of value there. The big uns. So that's our circle. Now, comes the other part. Here comes the complicated part. Okay, you guys. I'm going to do one first, and then, okay. So if I do air first, it gives us south fire, water west, earth north. Choose one.
Water.
Water,
I'll take earth.
earth, fire.
Fire.
All right. This is what I didn't neglect to print it today. So we're jumping right into the supreme pentagram ritual. And in this, there's 2 pentagrams for each quarter. And we will see that the air and the south ones have this thing called opening the veil, which is just imagining a veil curtain that you're opening. The water and north have closing the veil. So that's what that is. Open veil, closed veil. And each of the quarters has an archangel. These archangels are, let's see now, Michael, Raphael in the east, Michael in the south, Gabriel in the north, Uriel, Gabriel in the west, Uriel in the north. So even at this kind of level, you're invited to attempt to imagine you've just invoked an archangel. Don't be scared. They're nice. If we're nice. So, but more importantly, or kind of easier, is to once again, I'm going to be getting folks to draw these pentagrams in the air in front of them, against the wall or what have you, and just kind of try to imagine that you're seeing the lines you've drawn, even if it's just for an instant. So I'm going to go through mine slow, and you guys will, geez, you want to let everybody have a look at these before we get to, yeah, we'll just share for now. So this is the idea. We just did one banishing pentagram. Now we're doing 2 invoking pentagrams. So it's very specific about, there's little numbers, these where they start. Oh, it goes this way, not that way, this way. Boom. So, and each one has directions of where to start. So, yeah, 1. The pentagrams, there's called the spirit pentagram and the elemental pentagram. The spirit pentagram is the same for, so there's the actives and the passives, the closed curtain and the open curtain. So east, air, south, fire. East and south are the active spirit pentagrams. They're the same. The spirit pentagrams for water and earth are the same, drawn the same. But they have different words. Now, the Agala is Hebrew. The Eheye is Hebrew. Jehovah, obviously. Raphael, all is, I guess, Judeo-Christian archangel names. But then we're also starting to get into the Enochian now. Ixarpe, in Enochian, we pronounce each letter. That's the theory. Nobody knows how it's really pronounced, except for maybe John Dee and Edward Kelly from 1585. But yeah, so they all have the first word is the Enochian for that spirit pentagram. The in the second, the third word is also Enochian. So that is, I best give these back to the people that are going to be reading them before I try to explain how to pronounce them. So so here's the first pentagram. Starts here, goes that way to the side. Bum, 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 bum. And as you're doing that, you say na and ta. Na and ta is the Enochian. Mm-hmm. Down here, let's say, where are we? 3. So 1. Oh yes. And then in the center, just kind of a circle, clockwise circle, and that's Agala. Then you close veil, and then here's the Enochian. E mor dial hektega. Sounds really cool. Because as we go along, we learn we're supposed to vibrate all these words. So yours is Empe Arcel Gayo. And it's so start, and that's Hakoma. So first you would do this one, yeah. And it starts here, boom, 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 boom. Hakoema, Agala, close veil, Empe Arcel Gallo. Al. Al. That's a little eagle head. And you got fire with the Leo symbol in the middle. That's the last thing. Elohim. So first is the Etom or Betom. Betom. So let's say call it Betom. Betom. Eheye. Open veil. Oyepteia pedoke. Elohim.
This way?
Yes, pardon me, that way. Fire.
Oitea.
Pedoke.
Pedoke.
Pedoke. Elohim. Hey, oh, Michael. Now, it's a lot to dump on you here, but we're going to take our time and go through it and do it more or less correctly.
I'm supposed to say all the words except the title.
Don't say the title. Well, if you want. And one of the things that I'm going to send along to people that I have their email, Chris, I don't think your email worked for me.
Oh, I might have spelled it wrong.
Okay. Send something to me. Because at the bottom, it shows the archangel, Uriel. It just so happens, I'm not expecting you to memorize all this, but I'm going to be following you along. And then when you're done, you do this sign of Uriel, which is just kind of a salute like that. Sort of like walk like an Egyptian. Walk like an Egyptian, you know? Yeah. That's called the sign of the Zelator. But that's kind of this. So you would do your pentagrams and then you go, Hail Uriel. You would do your pentagrams and then you go, tricky. Hail Gabriel. Gabriel is a triangle with the abdomen, downward triangle with the abdomen. Michael is an upward triangle at the forehead, fire triangle, water triangle, fire triangle.
Earth is where?
To the north. Where are we now? East.
North is the curtain.
North is the curtain. So hang on to that. At least when you're north, you're last.
Okay.
There we are. Oh yes, and I've got the sign of Thereticus, which is to the east. It's like this. El Raphael, which is air, which is intellect, which. Anyway, I don't want to swear, but it made me think of swearing. Like, what? What? So that's because now it's it's may not be super important about the theory, but it's important about the practice. And we're going through all this stuff so that we can learn how to have a practice. And part of that is all these goofy kind of things and learning how they go. So, but I also want to put in there on one of these, on one of your handouts, we have, so I'm going to incorporate that and encourage you to kind of do that as well. Let's all just stand up and do a Kabbalistic cross, if you would. And then we're gonna, because we're all in circles still. So it's right-handed. Ate. Let's hear you. Ate. Malkuth. Vegabora. Vegadula. Le Olam. So be it. Good.
You go.
So be it. Le Olam. Le Olam it's all Hebrew. I mean, obviously, but it's the Ate is just the crown, another word for Kether, for Eheye. Ate, Malkuth is the bottom sphere, Earth. You're going like this, but you're really meaning the one that's connecting you to the Earth. So from pure spirit, pre-polarity pure spirit, to Ate, Malkuth, is to the earth. Mars, Jupiter, Vicadula, Leolaam. So the theory here is, I kind of mentioned this before, maybe in the first class, but I'll just run it because now that we're all standing here, is that Te, you can visualize that as energy from way above coming into you, spiritual energy. Malkuth, you can visualize that as grounding energy going into the earth. That this is seen in astrology, I like to call it the power axis between nadir to midheaven, power. And then this axis is forming across in kind of your upper heart chakra, which is so awareness, Mars, Jupiter. And so the horizontal is our awareness, ascendant, descendant in astrology. Vertical is our power axis, and it comes together in you. And so that's kind of, it's used, then we use the Kabbalistic cross quite a bit. In ceremony, it's sort of seen as the punctuation. And if you've done it a lot and you think of the greater implications of what you're saying, it's designed to kind of keep you on track. So thank you very much. So therefore, back now. Hopefully I don't need my notes, but what the heck. I'll go here. Oh, we'll do it here. Ate, Malkuth, Vegabora, Vegadula, Leolaam. So be it Leolaam, I think it's sort of Hebrew for the contract or the agreement. Amen. And to that end, reminders. So East, Exarpe, Eheye. Now, I'm just kind of put parentheses here and there while I'm discussing this, what I'm doing. So I've done this invoking spirit pentagram. Let's see, that way. Boom, 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 boom. The Exarpe is the Enochian word for basically air, the spirit of air. Eheye is Hebrew for the Godhead, spiritual energy. In the original, some of the books and a lot of the books in the original Golden Dawn material, for this circle in the middle, doing a wheel, some of the images actually show like a 12 or a spoked wheel. And I've seen people that learned it from the books painstakingly drawing this wheel with all these spokes. You don't need to do that. It's just showing you that it's a wheel and that it has motion. So it's just kind of the motion is the important part, not drawing a wheel with spokes. Don't worry about the spokes. They're implying motion. And then for east and south, open the curtain. Curse air. Oroi bae ozadpi. Jehovah. So that's the sign in the air. It's the sign of Aquarius in the middle, a company god named Jehovah. And then, hail Raphael. So, quick before he's too lonely, because Raphael's standing there all by himself. you want to use the wand?
Sure.
All right. So, okay. First of all, spirit pentagram for fire starts down there.
Beatom.
Yes.
Hey. Open veil.
Open veil.
Should I make the
Yeah,
motion?
yeah.
Open veil.
That's it.
Um,
Okay. Yes, down to the fire.
Oitea pedoke. Elohim. Hail Michael.
Fire triangle for
Oh yes.
Mikiel.
Hail Michael.
All right. West.
Hakoma.
Agala. Agala.
Agala.
Close there.
Empha. Arzel. Hail. Wow. Hail Gabriel.
Yay. Okay.
No.
Earth. Hang on. There's a lot to keep track of, I know. Okay, so we're going to start here and go down and then up to the point and top and then down. You've got it? And that's Nanta.
Nanda.
And in the middle, a circle clockwise. Agala.
Agala.
Good. Close veil. Spirit pentagram starts here to the lower left. Point to lower left. And back and over and down and up. That is Imordial Hectega. Give it a go.
Imordia Hecta.
Close enough. And then in the center, a Taurus symbol. Adonai.
Adonai.
Okay. And then that is just Uriel. Uriel. Walk like an Egyptian. For Uriel. Uriel. Thank you. You've invoked Uriel. Now, with these guys, we're not done until before me, Raphael, behind me, Gabriel, to the right hand, Michael, to the left hand, Uriel. About us flames the pentagrams, and in the column shines the six-rayed star, Te Malkuth Vegabora Vegadula Leola. Amen. So, we're in a fiercely protected circle, cleansed and formed and invoked. So now, I'm going to run us all through the middle pillar again. How are we doing? Oh. So, first of all, kind of good to be, traditionally it's sitting upright. Some people can do a middle pillar because they're used to doing a lotus position for meditation. I find that I've never been able to do that properly without some stress on my limbs and pain. So, and then just kind of, although certainly this can be done lying down as well. But in everything I've read, it's like sitting up straight, don't cross your arms or legs. And then there's the breathing, which we're going to get into the 4 square breath. And it is, you may have heard of different types of meditation where they say breathe out through your mouth, breathe in through your nose. breathe this way or that way. And never mind. Don't worry about that. Especially, I mean, I used to have a lot more allergies than I do, or maybe it's the time of year. So, I mean, I'm used to being stuffy, and it doesn't matter. You can still do this. And then the whole idea here is so this is probably going to take us till almost the end of the class because it's already a wee bit after 5 after 4. But it's I think it's important that we're going to do a middle pillar, even if it takes 20 minutes or half an hour for the first number of classes, because what's important here is I'd really like to encourage everybody to maybe look at if you want reminders about the middle pillar. There's a handout about it. I have 2 different versions of the middle pillar on my YouTube channel that you could actually do along with the YouTube video. Because the theory is here that we're going to, once we've done this a number of times, I'm going to give you kind of a shortcuts but it's important that you have know what it's about, that whole kind of process of trying to raise your awareness. And because what we want to do is be able to do that, but you have to do that, kind of establish some sort of a little foundation before we kind of jazz it up. Good musicians, good jazz musicians have done their training. They know how to play a normal song before they go apeshit. So same with us. We got to learn how to do the basics, and then we can kind of summarize that into a quicker process when we get into wanting to be really elsewhere for our meditations. Which really has me wondering, which I haven't done yet, is there like a major light switch in here for these guys, or is it? Oh, way better. All right, I think that's good for now. And then because also within probably the next 3 months, I'm sure we're going to get into I'm also going to want to introduce you guys to tattvas. And tattvas are a Hindu system that the Golden Dawn taught, which is a way to kind of enhance your visualization ability while meditating. And because I've worked with others, I've worked with a few people that have said, well, I don't close my eyes and see squat. Which is, maybe you should get hypnotized to break through that barrier. But I find that so kind of hard to relate to, but we get too much going on in there. But tattvas are a way to kind of develop that, and a way to explore the 4 elements. So we'll leave that for another day, but it's about we actually start meditating by staring at like the color and shape associated with an element. And of course, as you know, if you stare at a specific color and shape for long enough, like actual 3 minutes, you close your eyes and you're going to see the opposite color and shape, and that you can't help it because it's burned itself into your retina, and that becomes a doorway into that element for meditation. So so that's something we're going to do to enhance this process. In the meantime, so what I'd like you to do is begin a relaxed, full breath. It's called the 4 square breath. which means you breathe in to your own personal count of 4. Pause for that count of 4. Breathe out slowly, evenly for that count of 4. Pause for a count of 4. Again, breathe in for the count of 4. Pause for a count of 4. Breathe out for a count of 4. Pause for a count of 4. I mentioned this in the past, but I just want to mention now that you keep thinking of that, keep doing that. The pause, we're not supposed to hold our breath like we're holding our breath. Just a natural, just pause. If you find you got to breathe, just breathe. Don't worry about it. But this is a way of breath, which is designed for us to use, fully our lungs and that exchange of air, but not it prevents hyperventilating with those pauses. And then the little clue about, I've certainly seen some middle pillar exercises go on and on for 40 some minutes because we're also thinking about relaxing all our muscles and these muscles and those muscles, and then we get all relaxed. But a little simple trick is just kind of relax your jaw and your whole body will relax. This is a helpful hint if you're going for a job interview or anything, or trying to flirt with somebody that's too attractive. Just relax your jaw. Breathing deep, pausing. Imagine light atop the head. A sphere of scintillating white, sparkling energy, pure spirit, source energy. Its Hebrew God name is Eheye. Eheye. Feel free to vibrate it along with me. Eheye. Eheye. Imagine light energy coming down through the top of your head to form a lavender orb of light in the throat area, pinky lavender, periwinkle perhaps. In the throat area, this is the light in extension to us. It is our own upreaching towards the light. Its God name is Yehovah Elohim. Yehovah Elohim. Lavender orb of light in the throat area. Yehovah Elohim. Imagine the light energy descending to inside the chest, behind the solar plexus, a yellow orb of light. It's the light of love, the light of unconditional love. Yellow, golden yellow orb of light
in the chest. God name is Yehovah Elovah. Yehovah Elovah. Give it another second. Thinking of that orb of light in the chest. As the light descends to form a purple orb of light in the groin area. Light of life. Its God name is Shaddai El Kai. Purple orb of light in the groin area. Shaddai El Kai. Purple orb of light. Imagine the light descending along the legs to form a russet orb of light in the feet, around the feet area, connecting us to the earth. Light of form, light of matter, consciousness in matter. Its God name is Adonai Haaretz. Adonai Haaretz. Adonai Haaretz. Bring the attention to the orb of light atop the head. On an exhale, imagine the light energy coming down through the left side of the body to the feet. On the inhale, imagine the light energy coming up along the right, along the calf, the thigh, along the right side of the body to the top of the head. We want to do this at least 4 times. Exhale light energy down through the left. Inhale light energy up through the right. Exhale light energy down through the left. Inhale energy up through the right. Now from the top, on an exhale, release the light energy down over the front of the body and over and through the front of the body to the feet. And on the inhale, imagine the light energy coming up from the feet, along the calves, along the back of the legs, along and through the back of the body. On the inhale to the top. Exhale light energy down over the front. Inhale light energy up along the back to the top of the head. Now, on an inhale, collect the light energy in the orb at the feet. And on the exhale, release the light energy up through the body, up through the top of the head. Imagine it's fountain through you and collect again at the feet and repeat. Inhale, collect energy at the feet. Exhale, release energy up through the body, through the top of the head. If you feel any resistance, imagine the light energy from the orbit atop the head, pulling the energy, pulling the light up through you. Okay, now it would be from this state that we would begin to meditate on specific symbols and specific places. But right now, I just want everyone to just kind of find their own kind of heart place when we were doing that Kabbalistic cross, the juncture between power and awareness in each of us. And just for a moment, we want to see if you can get a sense of being in circle, of imagining the protection of the circle, the intent of the circle, the clearing that went on earlier, and the invoking of archangelic energies to be with us. Okay, everybody, come on back. And I'm not going to be doing a big banishing, but I will do, let's see, thank the guardians of the quarters, the archangels, the energies and intelligences drawn to our ceremony. Thank you, and go if you must, stay if you will. Temple D. closed. And that's that. That was a little temple. I'm going to ask this. Anybody have any questions, comments? And anybody, first I have a question is, I know it took me a few tries, and I would recommend you kind of give it kind of a college try. Try that middle pillar when you have time and space. Anybody getting something from that, the middle pillar? Is that working? Is that work? Kind of, how's it work? How'd it work?
I find it works really well.
All right.
And I notice the energy afterwards, it's like more contained,
Yeah.
controlled.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm calmer.
Yeah, like everything is like
Yeah.
straight. It's good.
Well, I know that certainly it's a minimum. It seems to improve my posture. And it's the idea. It's an energizing meditation, but at the same time, as you say, it's about kind of helps provide kind of an awareness, maybe a point of consciousness where you're not. It can kind of definitely tones down the busy ego mind and provides you with a place from which you can focus or bring your awareness to where you want it to go. And it's designed to kind of energize, but also kind of to elevate consciousness and awareness. And so, yeah, let's kind of get that down. Try to kind of, we're gonna, I didn't really. I could have been a little slower. I could have maybe done these things kind of. They can say you can do it 4 times minimum. We could have done each one more, a little longer, a few more breaths with each thing. But it only took us about 20 minutes to do. So I think that's good if we can get it down to that. And what I'd like to do in 2 weeks is, make sure you got my email and send me an email. And then I will, and then we can just kind of let me know. I know, like what you're going to need, all the handouts, basically. I don't know if I had some the first day. I don't really.
I think I got one the first day.
One, okay, 1 or 2. So just tell me what ones you got, and I can send along just through the email any other handouts you may be missing. What I'd like to do next week is, in 2 weeks, is do a more kind of formal temple, and really kind of, and a meditation on part somewhere in the, well, I think we're going to jump right into the path of the universe or the world card down here, the 32nd path. And once I can bring in, because there's this beautiful kind of thing, starter kind of meditation that I actually kind of learned in my Wicca training. But it's very appropriate here, and it's about, of course, John Lennon had a song, Strawberry Fields. But there is this kind of thing I learned in the Wicca training, which really works well with the Tree of Life at the bottom here, is about helping each of us find their own strawberry fields, as it were, kind of a place to go in your own psyche that you can go to repeatedly, and it's still there, or it's always there for you. And so what I'd like to, what we're going to do as a group is I'm going to do a little more kind of visualize. So we'll do a middle pillar like that. We'll set up a temple. We'll all do a middle pillar like that. And then we're going to, I'll have a brief kind of guidance or a few words to kind of get us all to our own kind of place. And then I'll shut up. And you kind of will get, and you kind of pursue that in meditation. And so that's going to be the goal, is we're just going to find our own little strawberry fields where we can go on our own and return anytime. And so yours isn't going to look like mine. Nobody's is going to be exactly the same. But there's a few things I can describe to kind of get to kind of an inner doorway where you can kind of reveal a space to yourself. That's the goal. And there's all kind. Once that's established, if you're able to do that, it's from there. There's all kinds of the passageways that open up from there are basically endless. I mean, there's a temple you can go to on the astral where you can investigate your own past lives. You can find a big road to the Akashic records. You can do all kinds of stuff once you have kind of established that place, astral place for yourself. Hmm?
A field of thorns.
Yes. They have one of those at Shambhala. Okay. So thank you very much. So yes, Chris, your email didn't work, so I'm just see if I have a card here and you can take it and send me something first. And then I'll know your email. Oh, I got one. Oh, well. Yes, I do. Give you the lesser pentagram back.
You want this one back? That was your.
Oh, that one's mine, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And did you guys send me an email?
Yes.
She
Yes.
does,
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember now.
yeah, we're together, so.
All right. And you got that one. So I'll get that one to everybody else. There's just a couple other things. I'm trying to cover it all, but my favorite way of teaching is just do it. And so I'm going to pursue with that, just doing it business. But also, part of that just doing it is learning a little bit of the technical things. And now I'm trying to introduce all these kind of different forms. We got the Kabbalistic cross. We got walk like Egyptian for north. We got triangle for south. We got this one for water and west. We got this one for east. There's all these various forms. So, of course, if you ever kind of looked at that, well, I brought it for some reason. If you ever looked at this thing, oh, that's the little version, yes. I know there's a bigger version too. It's just as thick somehow. There's a lot of technical stuff. So we're going to approach the technical kind of bit by bit.
And first, I mean, so far we're getting a little bit technical with these body movements and forms and pentagrams. But we're just kind of touching the surface as far as kind of the technical potential for the work described in the Golden Dawn. Because I think it's important to recognize that there's a wide spectrum in this style of ceremonial magic, in Kabbalistic ceremonial magic. There's a wide spectrum. Things can be very technical and getting into gematria and working with numbers and the Hebrew letters and making sigils and et cetera, for different purposes or different planets and different spheres and different levels of angels. And oh my goodness, there's a lot of technical stuff, but it's not entirely necessary to do all that. Some people really like it, and other people's would rather not do that. But that's okay. There's another way. There's a whole creative way. We could be okay. In a few weeks, we're going to investigate Jupiter Thoth. We're going to Jupiter. We're going to go to Hesed, the sphere of Jupiter, and so you have to get the right smell, and well, everybody wears something blue, and or pretend you're royalty, or so we could. I mean, you could take a creative aspect of it, and we could be doing props and costumes, and if you think about the temples they describe in here in the Golden Dawn, it would be an elaborately decorated room. They'd have the big pillars of black and white pillars. Somebody sitting in the throne. You have kind of secret chiefs in the other room. You got people all have their different grades from how many years they've been studying, and they have different costuming and different kind of magical tools and stuff, and fancy. But really, so anyway, what I'm saying is, try not to be too deterred if things get a little technical. It's just to kind of get us over the hump. That there's sort of basically they're telling us these are the forms that are used, so we want to use these forms. There's the whole theory that on the astral level here, just behind the material world, these are forms and postures and signs and things that are done with the hands and the body and the colors and the smells that have been done for hypothetically hundreds of years. And so when we reproduce those forms, we're doing so to tap into these already established kind of energies. And so that's why kind of initially there's going to be stuff to learn. But I tell you, after you've done, supreme pentagram ritual for a few hundred times, you can do it in your head. Protect yourself on the bus. Or you can do it in your head before you go to sleep, just because you want to chat with Uriel. But so it takes a little practice to kind of get there. And the basic forms are something I want to cover. But before too long, if you're able to kind of, done enough middle pillars that you know kind of where that gets you, that there's shortcuts to get there.
but we got to do our homework first. Okay, thanks a lot, you guys. Any other questions or comments? And so get in touch, and we'll get the handouts to those that need them. Thank you.